طريق الإسلام سلام يوصلنا إلى مرسانا. يا أيها العالم يا أيها العالم يا أيها العالم صمتا واسمع شكوانا. يا أيها العالم يا أيها العالم يا أيها العالم صمتا واسمع شكوانا. مسلم وصموا يميني بالدماء. أنا مسلم نسبوا لديني كل عار. أنا مسلم وصموا يميني بالدماء. أنا مسلم نسبوا لديني كل عار. أنا مسلم أنا مسلم أنا مسلم أنا مسلم أنا مسلم. يا زمن الصمت القاتل جاوب قلبي المجروح، فلدي كثير مسائل اترك بابك مفتوح. يا زمن الصمت القاتل جاوب قلبي المجروح، فلدي كثير مسائل اترك بابك مفتوح. احتار الفكر العاقل وحليم صار يروح. إن الإسلام سلام لا خوف أو إرهاب، دين سلام وأمان والناس هنا أحباب. إن الإسلام سلام لا خوف أو إرهاب، دين سلام وأمان والناس هنا أحباب. إن الإسلام سلام لا خوف أو إرهاب.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. Welcome to this special program. It's a panel discussion on this Friday evening on Radio Islam. We welcome those listening to us in Johannesburg and surrounding areas via medium wave 1548. Those listening to us throughout South Africa and Southern Africa via satellite, and those listening to us globally via audio streaming on the website radioislam.co.za. Before we proceed, we have two mayyat announcements. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The mayyat of Marhum Muhammad Suliman Kaka, the father of Maulana Zubair Kaka, will leave from number 8 Fortuna Street, Mayfair West, leaving the residence at 9:30 p.m. and Janazah Salah will be performed at 10 p.m. and it's proceeding to the West Park Qabristan. That is the mayyat of Marhum Muhammad Suliman Kaka, the father of Maulana Zubair Kaka. And then we have the mayyat of Marhuma Fatima Ismail Mir, leaving number 148 Burnwood Road, Sydenham, Durban. The janazah will be performed tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. at the Grey Street Masjid, and thereafter it will proceed to the Brook Street Qabristan. That's the mayyat of Marhuma Fatima Ismail Mir. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant us and all the Marhumin forgiveness and Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Now, you may have heard the promo. It's been going out for a number of days. We're going to have a panel discussion, inshallah, and we have some great ulama and big names in the studio, if I can put it that way, and we will be introducing them in a few moments time, inshallah. And if you've just joined us and you don't know what we're talking about, then maybe you haven't been listening to the radio very attentively of late, but nonetheless we'll forgive that. We're talking about the Arrivals series. If you've heard of it, then tonight inshallah you'll get the Islamic perspective on it, and you'll appreciate how you need to approach it, and how you need to think about it, and how you need to digest whatever is contained therein. And also, if you haven't seen it, then you'll get an understanding about these kind of call them movies if you like, call them stories if you like, call them theories if you like, that give the impression that they've got the answer to what's happening in the world and why things are happening in the world, and more importantly, what is going to happen. So this, the Arrival series, it has been controversial. Some have praised the efforts of the producers, others have accused them of misinformation. But as always, what does our deen say about what has been said and how it has been said? And for that we always turn to our learned ulama, and we ask them for the interpretation. Now, joining me in the studio this evening, I got to just watch myself, I'm always in the habit of saying morning. We have a well-known voice to the listeners of Radio Islam, and that is none other than the Secretary General of the Jamiatul Ulama, Ml Ebrahim Bham. Maulana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam and assalamu alaikum to all the listeners.
Now, normally we say a man who needs no introduction, but nowadays I'm wondering if some of the MCs are getting lazy, and every time they introduce Maulana Suliman Moola or those on his level, then they say, a man who needs no introduction, but genuinely a man who needs no introduction, not only in South Africa, but globally, alhamdulillah. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala accept his efforts and take him from strength to strength. Maulana Suliman Moola is also a guest with us this evening in the studios of Radio Islam, and part of the panel. Maulana, jazakumullah for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for the opportunity, Maulana, and assalamu alaikum to all the listeners.
And joining us on the line from Lodium, we have Maulana Yusuf Abed. Maulana is well known. He's from the Chwane Muslim School. Maulana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Maulana, jazakallah for having me in your program in the midst of these big names and great ulama. And assalamu alaikum to all the respected listeners of
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Well, listeners, we're going to have a few introductory discussions, inshallah, for the next 15 or 20 minutes. You can SMS us from the onset. I know many of you have sent emails already from this morning, asking certain questions and highlighting certain concerns. We will try and deal with them. Some of those questions will automatically be answered in the comments that our ulama will be making tonight, inshallah. And those that are not, we will specifically pose them as questions. So the SMS number for tonight's program, 072-786-1548. That's 072-786-1548. The email address, smr@radioislam.co.za. That's smr@radioislam.co.za. The live studio number is 011-854-1548. The lines are not open as yet for on-air callers, but if you want to leave a question with our studio engineer, then you can call him on 011-854-1548. He'll take a note of the question and pass it down to me. But if you want to come live on air, then I will, in a few minutes' time, inshallah, announce when the lines are open. It's almost 20 to 9, and time is almost always of an essence when we have discussions of this nature, panel discussions, especially with ulama here on the panel, who have many pearls of wisdom and have fountains of knowledge. And obviously, we want to try and keep it compact. Even when you send your SMSs, when you make your comments, try and be brief and be to the point. Now, Maulana, just to commence the discussion, Ml Ebrahim Bham Sahab, I know there might be certain people out there, and the thought might be crossing their minds that what's happening here on Radio Islam tonight? You have a few ulama, and here they're talking about a movie series. They're talking about something that perhaps many would think they should not be talking about. What's the purpose of this program?
Man, I think one of the greater dangers and fitnas that we have to contend with is the aspect of mind control. And of course we know that our iman is to do with our heart and our mind and our intellect. And that is also something that is very, very valuable to us, but also at the same time very vulnerable. And there are various type of there are various type of forces that would try to undermine our iman. The Quran has made mention of it, and I think we would like to use the Quran as a reference. These type of things happen and come from time to time, and they achieve some sort of prominence, they achieve some sort of sensationalism for a short period of time, but it will never beat the eternal values of the Holy Quran. And I think one of the aspects that we would like to do in today's time and today's program is to look at the eternal values of the Quran and Hadith, which have been there from the time of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which somehow or the other, sometimes we tend to overlook that beautiful messages when we find something that is happening, and you ask the question, why all of a sudden do we want to take guidance from something like this when you have the eternal message of the Holy Quran? And I think that is one of the purposes for us to go back to our source of reference, source of inspiration, source of guidance. And yes, these things do throw up from time to time different type of challenges. It does throw up different types of thought patterns and an ideology that comes to the fore, which ulama need to maybe not to look at all the aspects, because there are many aspects with regard to it which ulama have written with regard to the prohibitive nature with regard to it in terms of music and in terms of women who are not clad modestly, etc. But here we are looking more so, and we have been mostly informed, and we have been reading much more than looking at the entire Arrival series, but just maybe taking up some aspect that might impact upon the iman, might impact upon the thought patterns of people, and maybe comment upon that, which I think would be part of the responsibility of the ulama.
Your comment, Maulana Suliman Mullah Sahab, is it necessary for ulama to be commenting on these kind of issues on a documentary or on a movie of this nature?
Maulana, Jazakallah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I think I'm going to approach it